Hello students. So the next cell organelle we are considering is the mitochondrion. So mitochondrion is the powerhouse of the cell. It is called powerhouse. It is called powerhouse of the cell because it produces ATP. So here ATP is the adenosine triphosphate which provides energy. So ATP is the source of energy, right? Since mitochondria produce ATP, they are called powerhouses of the cell. One is mitochondrion. Many are called mitochondria, right? So they are commonly called powerhouses of the cell because they are the source of energy, right? And energy is obtained from ATP. So mitochondria produce ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. So this is another membrane bound cell organelle. So mitochondria is another membrane bound cell organelle because it is having a well defined membrane. Now this is found in the eukaryotic cells, right? So we shall consider the structure of a mitochondrion. So that is the structure of a mitochondrion. So we shall label the parts here. So that is the structure of a mitochondrion. So mitochondria is a membrane bound cell organelle. So it is having outer membrane and inner membrane. So this is the outer and this is the inner membrane. Between the outer and inner membrane there is a space that is called intermembrane space. So intermembrane space is the space between the outer and inner membranes. Now the inner membrane, right, this inner membrane produces these infoldings, right? It produces these infoldings inner membrane produces infoldings. Infoldings means the inner membrane is folded on the inner side, right? So folding is observed on the inner side. That's why it is called infolding. So the infoldings of inner membrane, they are called cristae. So these are all infoldings of inner membrane which are called cristae. Singular is crista, right? One is crista, plural is cristae. The space, right? The space enclosed by the mitochondrion, it is called matrix. So matrix is the space enclosed by the mitochondrion, or the space that lies to the interior of inner membrane, right? Space towards the interior of inner membrane, it is called matrix. So mitochondrial matrix, right? The mitochondrial matrix is composed, right? It is composed of DNA. So DNA is present in the mitochondrial matrix. What is mitochondrial matrix? It is the matrix of mitochondria, right? It is called mitochondrial matrix. It contains DNA. So this DNA, it can be called as the mitochondrial DNA, right? So this is the mitochondrial DNA. Then you have these structures which are called ribosomes. So ribosomes are also present in the matrix of mitochondria. And these ribosomes, they are 70 S type, right? So 70 S type mitochondria are present in the matrix, right? Here S indicates Swedberg unit, which is sedimentation coefficient, right? So 70 S ribosomes are found in the mitochondrial matrix. Even you find various enzymes, right? Different enzymes are present in the mitochondrial matrix, and these enzymes may take part in the various reactions that occur in the matrix of mitochondria. Fine. So that is about the structure or ultrastructure of a mitochondrion. So you may expect, right? You may expect a 5-mark question. Explain the ultrastructure of mitochondrion, right? Or describe the structure of mitochondrion, a important 5-mark question. So with the help of this diagram, you have to explain. You may expect some 1-mark questions like name the powerhouse of the cell. So it is mitochondrion. So we shall revise it in brief. So mitochondrion is the powerhouse of the cell. It is a membrane bound cell organelle. It is having 2 membranes. It is double membrane structure, right? So the 2 membranes are the outer membrane and the inner membrane. The outer membrane and inner membrane enclose a space, right? So between outer and inner membrane there is a space which is called intermembrane space. Then to the inner side of inner membrane, the cavity or space, it is called matrix, right? So matrix is the space enclosed by mitochondrion. Then the infoldings of inner membrane, right? The infoldings of inner membrane, they are called cristae. One is called crista. You may expect a 1-mark question. What is crista? So you have to write, it is the infolding of inner membrane of mitochondria, right? Then in the mitochondrial matrix, you can observe DNA, right? It is called mitochondrial DNA. Then there are ribosomes, which are 70 S type. The details we have already discussed in the previous video. Then you also come across various enzymes in the mitochondrial matrix. So that is about the structure of a mitochondrion, a very important 5-mark question. Then after this, we shall consider the next cell organelle, that is the lysosome. So lysosome, right? Lysosome, it is called suicide bag of the cell. Lysosome is commonly called suicide bag of the cell. So lysosome is also a membrane bound cell organelle, or it is a membrane bound vesicle. So their shape is like this. So the structure of a lysosome is like this. So these are all lysosomes. They are bound by a membrane and they are spherical vesicle like structures. Right? So these are spherical vesicles bound by a membrane. So this is the outer membrane and this entire structure is called as vesicle. So these are the membrane bound vesicles or membrane bound cell organelles which are found in the cells. What is present inside the lysosome? So inside the lysosome there are hydrolytic enzymes. There are hydrolytic enzymes present inside the lysosome, and these enzymes, right, when they come out of the lysosome, they can destroy the cell. So a cell can be easily destroyed by hydrolytic enzymes present in the lysosome. Because of this, lysosome is called suicide bag of the cell. Then next cell organelle we shall consider is the vacuole. Vacuole. So vacuole is commonly found in the plant cells. So vacuole is membrane bound space. Vacuole is a membrane bound space present in plant cells. So when you observe a plant cell, in the center you will observe a membrane bound space that is called vacuole. So vacuole contains water, then sap and other unwanted substances, right? So the substances present inside the vacuole, they are not required by the plant cell, right? So all unwanted substances may be present in the vacuole. The membrane of vacuole, it is called tonoplast, right? The membrane of vacuole, it is called tonoplast. You may expect a 1 mark question, what is tonoplast? So you have to write, tonoplast is the membrane of vacuole. So you may expect some 1 mark questions here. Name the suicide bag of the cell. So you have to write lysosome. Then you may expect a 1 mark question. Name the membrane of vacuole. So the answer is tonoplast. Or you may expect a question, what is tonoplast? So you have to write tonoplast is the membrane of vacuole, right? So like this you may expect some 1 mark questions. Fine. So with this we shall conclude this video and we shall continue in the next video. Thank you.